Jay, welcome. Good to have you.
Good morning.
I know at this NAM event you're talking a lot about trying to broaden the manufacturing workforce in this country, and I want to get to that, but I got to imagine the supply chain discussion has to be overpowering a lot of the conversations you're having right now.
Well, it's front and center, and obviously there's a complete crisis in this country for not only consumers, but manufacturers being able to access goods. Part of that, obviously, it does go right back to the workforce crisis that we face. We have 850,000 open jobs in manufacturing. And one of the things that we're trying to accomplish here at the NAM board meeting that's being held in Phoenix, Arizona, is to call attention to that crisis through our campaign, Creators Wanted, which you see behind me here, as we're taking that campaign all over the road throughout the country.
All right, so if we're going to do the workforce thing, what are the solutions? We've seen some efforts from the Chamber of Commerce, and I know you're working on some of this as well, and changing the conversation regarding legal immigration. But does it go beyond that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing up immigration, because I think that gets lost in so many discussions. People think of that as, or they take sides, kind of a cultural issue. It's not just a question of policy for what's right and wrong and morally right. We would say it's morally right to encourage legal immigration in this country, and to also take into account the 11 million undocumented people that are here and give them a pathway to citizenship. But beyond that, it's also an economic issue. We simply don't have the workers that we need to get the job done. Immigration reform is a top priority for this association. Beyond that, making sure that we are changing perceptions about manufacturing careers in the United States. Creators Wanted is all about that. It's about making sure that young people, especially, and those who are thinking about a career change, are exposed to what modern manufacturing is all about. The new and exciting and technology-driven industry that is truly not only changing the world, but over the course of the last 2 years has been responsible for saving the world through our pharmaceutical manufacturers and others that have risen to the challenge during the pandemic.
Jay, there's the people piece of the puzzle, which you've just outlined, and then, of course, there is the cost and commodity piece of the puzzle, which is certainly in focus right now, given everything we're seeing playing out in Eastern Europe. Between sanctions, how are your constituents navigating all of that? How would you expect this to continue to play out, even as we do see this major multi-year trend of reshoring take place?
So I will say this to you, Megan, there's literally not one member of the board of directors of the National Association of Manufacturers that I've spoken to. We have a large board. We have 250 board members. They represent Fortune 500 companies and small and medium manufacturers all across the United States. Not one of them has said anything, but we have to take appropriate action against Russia and defend democracy and defend and do everything we can to support and help the people of Ukraine, but this is completely unacceptable. This will lead to further challenges in the supply chain. There's no question about that. This will lead to additional cost pressures for manufacturers and for consumers in this country. So what do we do about that? We have to be pragmatic, to be frankly, very direct about that. We know that the president is about to make an announcement about banning Russian energy imports to this country. That will have some driver on cost pressures here in the United States. So we need to make sure that we're increasing production domestically of our energy sources. We also need to make sure that the regulatory agenda is not cost prohibitive for manufacturers. We need to watch that we're not adding cost pressures as we are attempting to overcome these challenges. Manufacturers can rise to the solution. We always do. We were the arsenal of democracy during 2 world wars. We'll be there again. But we need to make sure that the right decisions are being made in Washington and throughout the states.